Get Some Fantasy Football Podcast, hosted by two-time Bundy champion Andrew Lovick.
And when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
You like that? You like that?
You know, I don't pay her to service you. I pay her to service baby Jeffrey, who is now forever unclean.
Like you're such a struggle.
Were you here last year?
Well, last year we lost the previous
Yeah,
year.
so look, every game's its own game, okay? I mean, I don't think what happened 5 years ago has anything to do with tonight.
What's up, League? It's your boy, two-time Bundy champion Andrew Lovick, coming to you live from Rocky Patel Studios. Today's show is brought to you by Coors Light. When the mountains are blue, you go for two. I got a special guest with me today, two-time Purgatory champion,
I think it's more than two. It's probably more like six-time Purgatory champion.
Matthew Shepard, and my dog, Squeaking the Toy. Alright, time for some motherfucking Get Some Fantasy Football Podcast. Fuck you, Brad and Stu. My podcast is better. Let's go. Alright, let's get into it. Way too late draft grades coming to you here. We've got a nice show for you guys. We got draft grades, steal of the draft, trade grades, and a little bit of politics. Politicking for you.
We're talking to you, Brad.
We're talking to you, Brad. Fucking politicking this shit. All right. First up on the draft grades, let's talk about Mr. Adam Shepard. What do you think, Matt?
Guys, public service announcement. Don't let your friends or family draft drunk.
That's coming to you from someone who watched his own brother, blood brother, mind you, draft a backup tight end.
A backup tight end that they had to write their name on the board. Now, I did this last year. I drafted a tight end. We had to write his name on there, but at least the guy had potential. I didn't even know the name of the other guy.
Backup tight end for the Cleveland Browns. Does anybody even know who that is? Nobody knows. Nobody is. Demetrius Harris.
Yeah. He's on the waiver wire now, guys. If you want to go ahead and scoop him up, the Guru's late round tight end pick there for you.
But we'll go ahead and give him the grade. We're going to go with the C, and we'll explain why. Christian McCaffrey, great pick. Kerryon Johnson, phenomenal pick. Leonard Fournette, wishy-washy. I feel like in the third round, that's a great value for who you're getting. Not sure if he's going to do much for you in PPR, but it remains to be seen. I think when you drop off, and this was a general consensus between both Matt and I, is Andrew Luck. Even though he is a top fantasy quarterback, I feel like your need for wide receiver at this point is a lot more than your.
Yeah, it was way higher. You could have definitely gone with somebody. I mean, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you couldn't have gone Robert Woods. You still could have gone Mike Williams or Cooper Kupp. Tyler Lockett was there. There was so much more you could have done over Andrew Luck. You could have got Andrew Luck 2 or 3 rounds later. Your wide receivers are abysmal at this point. You're going to have to do something and do it fast. I'd put Leonard Fournette or Kerryon Johnson, maybe both on the block, and try and upgrade your receivers, because holding out, hoping that Christian Kirk's going to do something great with a rookie quarterback is not the way to win a fantasy league.
Well, we already saw second preseason game, and I do know that it's preseason, but I did feel a little bit of tingle in my balls when Kyler Murray looked like shit. And it might be a precursor, it might not, with the Cliff Kingsbury offense. We're not sure. However, I will say I will trade for Kerryon Johnson. Give me a call, Adam. Give me a call, buddy.
The only thing I'll say is look what Cliff Kingsbury did with Patrick Mahomes in college, and now look at Patrick Mahomes in the NFL.
Hey,
he was abysmal in college in comparison.
In Cliff Kingsbury's defense, he looks like the dude from The Notebook.
Yeah, he probably cries after sex. I'll agree with that.
Okay, all right. So, Adam, you are a C, good sir, a C.
That's barely a C.
Barely a C. Moving on to Stu, the master of trades.
The master of trying to trade.
Master of trades.
He needs his own jacket. Somebody buy this man a jacket.
All right, here we go. We're going to go with a B. A solid B. I think
Lamar Miller all the way down in the 6th. I think that's a good pickup. I don't think he's going to have a lot of contested carries. I think he's gonna hold the number 1 starting position for the most of the year. He's the only person he's going to battle for carries with are going to be Deshaun Jackson.
Well, look, you've got he's
Jackson,
drafting a running back 1, a true non-contested running back 1 in the 6th round.
Yeah.
Now, is he going to get running back 1 production in fantasy from Lamar Miller? Probably not. But would you want to go for starters?
You're going to get 8 to 10 points from him every single week.
Great pickup. I love that pick. I love it. The one thing that I'm hesitant about and don't like, it's risky, is the Melvin Gordon. I understand why I did it. Coming from a former Chargers fan, Melvin's a stud. He's healthy. He's ready to go. But knowing Dean Spanos and knowing that organization and the fucktards that they are, they will not pay him what he wants, and he will sit out. And I truly think that instead of going Melvin Gordon, he could have picked up Cooper Kupp. I mean, his wide receiver 1's Adam Thielen, great pick.
Your wide receiver need was absolutely there.
Greater. Yeah, you had Josh Jacobs, which is a phenomenal pick. So your running back 1 is Saquon, your running back 2 is Josh Jacobs, your wide receiver 1's Adam Thielen, and then you potentially could have had Cooper Kupp.
You probably didn't even have to draft Tyler Boyd there, let's be honest. He would have been there next round probably. But either way, you go Cooper Kupp or maybe even Tyler Lockett over Melvin Gordon because your need is wide receiver. That's the one pick to me that kept you from being an A.
But,
Marvin Jones late, I don't think that's a bad pick at all. David Njoku, you're way too high on a guy that's not going to do nearly as much because the wide receiver weapons and the running back weapons are
I think it
way
remains
too big.
to be seen, but at this point, he chose to go tight end late, and in doing so,
there weren't a ton of better options. I mean,
But not to get too far into it, Stu gets a B. And
I think we already got too far into it.
We did get too
far. But that's
into
okay.
It. All right, we've been drinking. Like I said, this message was brought to you by Coors Light.
And the mountains are always blue, and we've kept going for 2. So, next up, we got we got Sam. Ooh. Sam, we got you at a B+ overall. Overall, a really good draft, man. I was happy with it. I'd be really happy with your team. I think Antonio Brown in the 3rd round is really fantastic because obviously, if you've been watching Hard Knocks and keeping up with the updates, you know that AB is going to be there week 1. He's going to feast. They're going to feed him the ball. He's already, since 3 or 4 years ago with Derek Carr, had a good connection, a good friendship there. He's going to feed him. It's going to be a great season for Antonio Brown.
I'll trade you Julian Edelman for Antonio Brown right now.
Yeah, there you go. That's a trade-off right there, and you should not do that because he doesn't need any more wide
Antonio
receivers.
Brown is going to be a monster. Keenan Allen burned me. I saw it live. He tore his ACL right in front of me while I had him. Never do that again. Never again. # never forget. But I think Alvin Kamara, phenomenal pick. Keenan Allen is good right there. Antonio Brown in the 3rd is a steal. Chris Carson's a starter. I'm biased because Rashad Penny's a San Diego State guy, and I want him to beat Chris Carson. However, I don't know if that'll happen anytime soon. Cooper Kupp, phenomenal. Robbie Anderson. Matt disagrees, but I like Robbie Anderson a lot. I know he's a clear-cut number 1.
Only thing there,
I think the Jets now are going to be more balanced, and Robbie's going to be able to have more targets because they can't stack the box. They didn't even have to stack the box. Who were
right.
Elijah McGuire and fucking whoever else was there,
He'll have a better season probably. I'm just a little down on him personally. I just think with your roster, what you had there at the time, you could have gone, Kenyon Drake, Tariq Cohen. You could have gotten a starting running back.
Well, he's glad he didn't take Kenyon Drake because
Kenyon Drake is going to be hurt. But at the time, we didn't know that when we made these drafts. I think you were better off in that position. In that position, I think you were just better off taking a running back. It may pan out for you. I think tight end, you're going to be great. Jared Cook's going to dominate in New Orleans while Drew Brees has another phenomenal year.
I'll say this. Going from worst to this draft, you, sir, will, at the very least, will be in purgatory. barring everyone on your team tears an ACL. Barring that, you will be in purgatory, and you will not have the dildo this year. And we're going to knock on some wood for you, Mr. Sam Bartlett. But great job on the draft there. That was phenomenal.
That
was
to
a
me,
great
I
draft.
think, is your best draft you've had in quite a few years.
City Slicker.
Yeah, let's talk
Slicker,
about.
hipster, motherfucking Vince.
You must have worn your scarf the entire time you drafted.
Hey, man.
The entire time.
Is my bathroom in the house I own, is it larger than your apartment?
It has to be.
It has to be.
Yeah. No, just the.
I will say, though, that he does have way better food options than we do. Without a doubt.
I don't need all that fancy shit. I like 15 acres. I'm
telling you, though, I bet you the pizza is phenomenal.
I'm okay with Papa's. I can live with that. That's okay with me.
I'm telling you, I'm going to go get some pizza up there. But anyways, I digress. Vincent.
Your running backs. Oh, my gosh. You are stacked. I love every single one of your running backs. Your top two are going to be studs. David Johnson, they're not. I mean, as long as their offensive line is serviceable this year, David Johnson is going to be a good running back. He's got a competent quarterback now that I think fits the system. He'll catch a lot of balls. He'll do a lot of running.
At least he'll get back up to where he was. I mean, I don't think he's going to be the best, but he'll be back up to where he was a year or two ago. He's been kind of non-existent due to injury, but I think it gives him the opportunity to get back up there, so I think he's a good pick.
Yeah, Nick Chubb, I love that pick. I absolutely love it. I got him in Dynasty. I traded Stephon Diggs just to get Nick Chubb in Dynasty. I think it's an awesome pick in round 2, and he's going to feast in that offense. Damian Williams, a lot of people aren't quite as high on him. I think he's a true 3-down back. I think he's going to see a lot of work. He can catch the ball. He's every bit as good as Kareem Hunt was in Kansas City. He fits the offense well and the system well. He's going to be really good. Where you're screwed is wide receiver, because I don't like any of your wide receivers.
Let's see, who's your wide receiver 1? Kenny Galladay, wide receiver 1. Ugh. Tyler Lockett, wide receiver 2. Ugh. Allen Robinson. Ugh. Corey Davis. All right. Yes, Vince, you should definitely try and trade for a wide receiver. Thank you, by the way, for Russell Wilson. We'll talk on that later. However, I will tell you that you are hurting at wide receiver, which means we give you a C.
Yeah, definite C. I like Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to have a great year.
Oh, I think that was one of the best picks you've ever made.
Kareem Hunt should have never been drafted. I don't know why you picked him. I don't think anybody should have picked him through all 15 rounds. There's absolutely no way that I would have ever touched him. Kareem, he's never going to play a single game for Cleveland. He may get traded somewhere if a starting running back gets hurt. I don't think he's ever going to see action in Cleveland at all. That being said, nobody should have touched him, because you can just pick him up in week 3 or week 4 and wait for him to get traded. So, waste of a pick. That's why we gave you what we gave you.
Next up, Mr. Kaprovic, Carpet Pickle. We're going to go.
Kaprovic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
You're just skipping there.
He
went for too many. Let's be honest, boys.
Too many, baby.
Eskimo Joe, $12,000. I like it, man. I think
Mike Evans,
overall,
Amari Cooper.
We gave you an A. You've got a stud group
balance.
there.
We gave you an A for balance, because you are a very well-balanced team. I mean, you're look, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, wide receiver 1 or 2. Zeke,
I love Fitz that late. Your wide receivers, Fitz that late.
You got Austin Eckler. You've got a clear-cut RB1 right there, too. So even if you don't want to start Mark Ingram, you've got an RB1 in the 7th fucking round.
And we all know Melvin Gordon's not going to sign.
He's not. And so you're looking studly. Larry Fitz.
I love it. Where it's at, I love it.
Where it's at, Golden Tate. Yeah, I mean, he's the only one there now. I mean, Sterling Shepard, he's okay.
He's healthy.
Yeah, he's healthy, but
who knows what's going to happen. Alfred Morris, waste of a pick.
I think Mitch Trubisky was a homer pick.
I like it. I think Mitch is going to have a good year.
Disagree. However, I could be wrong.
Darwin Thompson, all the way at the back. I'm high on Damian Williams. I really am, but I think Darwin Thompson that late. If Damian Williams starts to falter, Darwin Thompson is the guaranteed next man up in my eyes. I don't think there's any question about that. He is extremely talented, and he's going to do really well one day. I think that late in the draft, that to me, it's really close to possibly. If later in the season he pans out, that'll be, a mid-season to late season steal of the draft. We'll talk steal of the draft later, but right now, if it pans
A for
out,
balance.
A for balance for sure, definitely.
A for balance. Next
now
up,
we can talk about Copro. Is that
Carpet
okay?
Pickle. Yeah, that's cool. Carpet Pickle. All right. We will give you a B+.
You have never drafted better in your entire life. That's all I'm going to say.
Let's take a look. DeAndre Hopkins, love it. Dalvin Cook, love it. He helped me win the league last year. Patrick Mahomes, he's the #1 fantasy quarterback. You stole him from Day. It was great to see that happen. I think he's going to have great production. David Montgomery, they're talking highly of him. Sony Michel.
And Sony Michel that late. That's awesome.
You're DJ Moore. He could be clear cut, arguably #1. Just depends on what happens with Curtis Samuel. I mean, you're looking studly. You're looking real studly. So we
only
agree.
thing, the embargo needs to be lifted. You've got some potential at wide receiver, but it's only potential with DJ Moore and Will Fuller. You need to lift the embargo. You need to throw David Montgomery, Sony Michel, one of those two. Don't give up both. Out there and try and upgrade somewhere at wide receiver. Get a little better or a little more positive at wide receiver because you're just not sure what DJ Moore and Will Fuller are going to do across the season.
Agree with that. All right, Michael Day.
I said right off the bat there's no way Michael can have over a B, period, end of story, because he drafted 2 tight ends in the top 3 rounds. And while they're good tight ends, I don't really care. You can't get higher than a B if you draft 2 tight ends in the 2nd and the 3rd round.
Here's where I disagree with that. I disagree with that because he took the #1 tight end and the #2 tight end. I know there's a little argument between who would be #2 is Kittle and Ertz, but right now I feel like Zach Ertz is a clear-cut #2 tight end in fantasy football. As tight ends go. With it being as scarce a position it is, I think it's a phenomenal strategy, and I would have done it only to have traded and try and trade. Where Day downgrades, in my opinion, is because he has no intention of trading these guys. So it doesn't help him. He has a great flex and a great tight end. Travis Kelce helped me win the league last year. I really wish I could have taken him. I couldn't take Tyreek and Travis in the same back-to-back. But what I'm saying is if I were Day, his starting running back is Derrick Henry. I would try and take Zach Ertz and try and get myself another fucking running back.
I'll give you Phillip Lindsay for either one of those guys.
I would not do that trade at all. Don't listen to that. But, for someone like Copro, who's got Dalvin Cook and David Montgomery, it's something I would look at. But I digress. Day, you're B, borderline C. Your starting running back is Derrick Henry, and your second running back is James White. So, looking pretty brutal there. All right. Moving on. We got you, Mr. Shepherd, Mr. Purgatory. Never won a day in my life. Fucking Jewish motherfucker.
Championship game once. First year. Don't forget.
You also auto-drafted that year, did you not?
I did. And both of the players that helped me get to that championship are no longer in the league. So.
You heard it here first, folks.
Hey.
The news you can trust and the news you deserve.
The winner that year auto-drafted too. Don't forget that. The Guru.
Ooh.
Air quotes on that.
Air quotes.
Just saying.
All right, Shep, in looking at your draft, I think you got an F. Your team sucks.
I think you're full of shit.
Your team is terrible.
Nobody cares about your
let's take a
opinion.
look here. Michael Thomas. Where he's at, great pick. I do worry about his production after getting massively paid. Most players who do get massively paid.
He went on the front cover of Madden, so I'm not too worried about it.
There you go. Joe Mixon, where he's at, great pick. I do worry about him as far as with AJ Green on the field. Marlon Mack, I think it's great.
Breaking news in the last 5 minutes. It's clear cut, according to Sleeper, that Marlon Mack is going to be a 3-down back this year.
Well, I didn't think there was any.
Daggum good offense. So
I don't think there was any question whether Marlon Mack was going to be their starting guy, but glad.
Yeah, but he wasn't a 3-down back as much last year. That's all.
Okay.
Naeem Hines or whoever the hell that other guy is.
Naheem Hines.
Naheem.
Philip Lindsay, man, running back by committee, but was the man last year, no doubt about that. Mike Williams, great pick. AJ Green, if it pans out for you, here's the thing. This is the big question mark. If AJ Green does Matthew Shepard a solid, I mean, how could he not? Matt has been so fucking loyal to AJ Green. It's not even funny. AJ owes him a solid by stepping up to the plate, getting healthy early, and getting on the field. And if he does, I feel like you're going to have a pretty decent team. Drew Brees, can't question that man. He's a monster. Always. I know there's a lot of talk about him dropping off in production. He's Drew fucking Brees. He can throw the ball better than me. Your tight end is questionable in my opinion, and it gets kind of worse from there. If P. Riv is your backup quarterback, that's not a bad backup quarterback to have at all. But plug and play Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers, I like that. I'm going to go ahead and give you a B. And if Green pans out, borderline A.
A little bit of breaking news here. According to Pig Trail Nation, Morris said Nick Starkel took all the first-team reps today, so that will probably be your Portland State starting quarterback for the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Woo pig, Nick Starkel.
Brad, you made it. You called it. That's exactly what you said, and that's what
too.
I hoped for the entire time.
I called
was
it
Nick
too.
Starkel. Did you?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I didn't read it.
I did. I said Nick Starkel's going to be the starter.
Fake news.
Wow.
Everybody.
Wow.
Thanks to Sam.
It's just because I just graded him, he's going to call me fake news.
Sam Bartlett, make the league great again.
Ooh. Alrighty. Moving on. Dixon. Mr. Tampa Bay, living in paradise.
Yeah. I'd like to have a beer at work every Friday afternoon.
Yeah, I want to be a millennial too.
Or at least work for a millennial. Jesus.
All right. I think Matt and I are in agreement here of your three-headed beast.
It's a monster. You have a three-headed absolute.
And now, here's my
friggin'
theory
monster.
about and I'm going to give out some secrets here post-draft. Every year that I've won, I've had a three-headed monster. I've had a three-headed beast of wide receivers every year that I've won. Now, just because I have a three-headed beast doesn't mean you'll win automatically, but it's something I strive for. So you drafted a three-headed beast, and I love it. Julio, Stephon, and Robert. Yes, get it. I think it's great. Where you're lacking is your running back situation. Your RB2 is Mr. Geis, who potentially will take over AP's role, but we're not sure yet, and it's in a questionable offense. James Conner, great pick. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's got a tough schedule. He's got a real tough schedule.
It doesn't matter because you got Carson Wentz way late. And
yeah, you want to trade me Carson Wentz? I'll take Carson Wentz.
That dude is going to feast all year. It's been his healthiest training camp he's had in a long time, and I really think Carson's going to have an awesome year this year. Got an actual, real, legitimate good running back to run for him this year,
I'll say we've agreed that your borderline B, if you traded for a running back to help where you're at, where you're needing it, you're going to be a B for sure. We're going to go C, but I'm treading lightly here because I love the three-headed monster and I love James Conner. You know, having one running back, 2 or 3 is not a big deal in my opinion back there. But if you did trade to get another running back, I think you'd be unstoppable. In my opinion, I think you've got potentially a really good team.
If you could dump off Carson Wentz and grab Carson Wentz and maybe pair him with Kenyon Drake or something, and get another solid RB1 in there. You go from a C to an A instantly.
Instantly.
Definitely.
And all it does is it takes the right moves. And I think you're set up for success. And I see you having a pretty fucking good season. Next up, we got Brad. Automatic D.
Brad, you get
Automatic
a
D.
You get a D because you like the D. That's
A
the
D
absolute
for
reason.
the D because you like the D. And I
Yeah.
think that's all we really need to say about
Yeah,
Brad's
and so
team.
let's move on to Rodney
All
next.
right, Rodney.
Um,
Moving
so,
on to Rodney.
uh,
Rodney. Go.
No, yeah, Brad, you did really well. I think that in the comeback on second round, you went Todd Gurley. At this current moment, it looks really good, but at the time, it sounds homer, I know, but James Conner, he's healthy, he's going to get to work, he's got, really, really high ceiling as far as a running back goes. I would have gotten him over Todd Gurley easily. Maybe Joe Mixon, but I think that's pretty borderline. I think you could have gone a more solid in the draft when it happened, knowing what we knew then. Todd Gurley was an iffy pick. Man, you got two great running back or receivers, OBJ and Brandon Cooks. I think those are really great.
I love the OBJ pick, and I love Brandon Cooks. I think
Brandon Cooks is going to eclipse
feast.
Cooper Kupp this year. I
Yeah.
think Brandon Cooks is going to be the clear-cut number one, and I think that's a really, really great pick in the third round.
Aaron Jones in the fourth. I mean, he's their clear-cut guy to go to. And you got Deshaun Watson, the top 3 fantasy football quarterback. I mean, you're looking studly. I love the Hunter Henry pick. If OJ Howard didn't fall to me, Hunter Henry was my second guy, my next guy. It could have gone either way. I probably would have taken Hunter if he was there versus OJ. I mean, I love it. I love your draft. It's looking good. And the only
Miles
thing,
Sanders in the 7th. I mean,
yeah,
that's
Miles
just
Sanders is
phenomenal.
going to be the running back one there. He's going to take over Jordan Howard's job. It's just everyone knows it. Rashad Penny, San Diego State. Go Aztecs, baby. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, no one cares. No one cares.
He will take over Carson's job only because he's an Aztec. That's the only reason. It has nothing to do with his football abilities.
Non-founded.
There are no
nothing.
statistics to that claim. It's just I know it to my soul. But we're going to give you an A.
Yep, good draft, bud.
Good
Very
draft.
Good draft.
And we do, in this draft analysis, feel like you had wide receiver depth lacking, which
Definitely
we were
need more
going to
wide receivers,
downgrade
yeah.
you a little bit. However, we know you did fix that, which we'll get to later. All right, Rodney, you dirty diabetic you.
Yeah, I voted against your trade, but we'll talk about that later.
All right, Rodney, Lev Bell, I like it. T.Y. Hilton, I think that was your undoing. It was a terrible reach. Look at the guys you could have had. You could have had Todd Gurley, James Conner.
Not Todd Gurley. You couldn't have. Dude, don't pick Todd Gurley there. James
No,
Conner.
well, no,
you could have had James Conner. You could have had Mike Evans. You could have had Keenan Allen.
You could have had Travis Kelce.
Thielen.
You could have
Travis Kelce.
the number one tight end. You could have
Nick
had
Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
You could have taken a.
There's
if you'd have had Lev Bell and Nick Chubb there, you'd have had a two-headed monster and starting running back, and you'd have been a force. That's my opinion.
I think T.Y. was a reach. Kittle, I like the pick. I mean, the first 2 guys went off the board. You had to make a decision whether or not you were going to take the third tight end or just wait. Kittle's he's a monster. I like him. I love his energy. Calvin Ridley, it's a good pick. Jarvis Landry's a good pick in my opinion. I know there's a lot of mouths to feed in Cleveland, and it remains to be seen, but that doesn't mean that Jarvis Landry still isn't a talented guy. That dude can catch some footballs. And so I think he's going to vulture OBJ at some time. So you're going to he'll be a good wide receiver too for you. Emmanuel Sanders, I think, was a great pick. We saw his kind of debut in preseason. I know you traded him away, but also on the flip side of that, like how much of that lasts? Does he get injured again? Is he more injury prone? We don't know. Jordan Howard, I think it's crap because he will not be the starter there. Miles Sanders is killing him.
Duke Johnson's hurt. Justin Tucker's just way too early.
Adam Humphries.
I think Adam Humphries is not a bad pick. I think that he stands a chance at being the number one in Tennessee. The problem is he's in Tennessee.
That is a big problem. T.J. Hawkinson, here's my thing about T.J. I love the guy. I think he's a phenomenal football player. Not sure if you didn't. Oh, you have Kittle. So
Yeah.
as your backup, plug and play. Not a bad pick that late. Rex Burkhead.
Waste of a pick.
I didn't even know he was in the league still. Michael.
I like Michael Gallup that late. I really do. I think that if somebody's really gonna push Amari Cooper to be a little better, I think Michael Gallup has the talent and the ability. I think he's gonna really kind of take that.
Randall Cobb's there.
I really think Randall Cobb's old and he's just a name at this point. I think Michael Gallup is the clear-cut number 2 talent in Dallas, and I think he kind of plays the same role that Juju did his first year in Pittsburgh. I think he takes the slot a lot where Amari Cooper's on the outside. I think Michael Gallup sees a lot of footballs this year, and that late, I think that's a really good pick.
B minus.
Yeah, overall B minus. Your running backs are just abysmal. You got one guy, and then the rest of it just absolutely sucks. A big, maybe a gray plastic phallic device that you've held before in your possession for quite a long time.
Last up, yours truly, the current champion. Lay it on me, motherfucker.
Mr. Lovick, I really liked your draft. I thought it was really good. It's probably it's right at the top 2 or 3 for me. I gave you a B plus overall. I think your 3-headed monster receiver is absolutely scary as hell. Tyreek, you know what he's going to do. Juju, there's a little question there, but the guy's got the talent and the ability. I think he's going to be just fine without AB. Julian Edelman in the 3rd round. I'm scared of the guy a little bit, but you can't deny his production, especially last year in the late season. He was really, really good. I just don't like your running backs. I think they're absolutely horrible. Personally, I know they've got a little better rank. I don't like Devontae Freeman. He's been injured the last every single season he's played. Tevin Coleman, I think he's going to be the starter in San Francisco pretty quick, fast, and in a hurry. So where you got him is really good value. I'm just not sure about that offense overall. LaShawn McCoy, I think, is a waste of a pick because he's going to use a walker if he actually plays this year. Adrian Peterson, current starter, but, it's in a really, 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 really shitty offense in Washington. So overall, B+. I hate the Kyler Murray pick. I think there's so many more things you could have done at quarterback. Of course, I know now you have Russell Wilson, but you could have picked Carson Wentz. He's going to have at least a decent year. Jared Goff, system quarterback. Russell Wilson, he's going to ball. I'm a personal fan of Mitch Trubisky. All those quarterbacks, your boy P. Riv, he was there. There were a ton of people you could have taken over Kyler Murray, who is playing for a coach who could not coach a decent season out of future Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes.
That is true.
So overall, B+, not too shabby. Your receivers are going to carry you, and if they don't, you're screwed.
All right. I like it. And now we will tell our steal of the draft. Now, in order to grade this, you had to have drafted a stud 6th round or later. And when we looked at it and really dove into it, it was a coin flip between 2 guys, Brad and Copro.
We had 3 options on the table, though. We had Curtis Samuel with Brad, Cortland Sutton with Copro, and then Lovick talked me into I can't even read your writing.
Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown.
I didn't talk you into that. I was trying to talk you into Devin Singletary.
I said Hollywood Brown. I'm sorry. I thought that was a good pick. He was trying to talk me into Devin Singletary, but we watched some highlights before we recorded this, and I disagreed. Hollywood Brown late. I think that's really good. But personally, to me, I think Curtis Samuel was a steal of the draft. Brad, I absolutely hate giving you any kind of award at all because you're just going to gloat. But
steal of the draft, Brad.
Curtis Samuel, I think it was a steal of the draft that late. I think he's a clear-cut sharing at least number 1 duties with DJ Moore, and definitely has the potential to take that number 1 job from him. You got a really high volume production.
We don't like you. Steal of the draft. We don't like you. And now we're gonna downgrade your draft status from a D to an F. Just letting you know.
Because you like the D, so F you.
Yeah, F you. All right, now we're up on to trade grades. Let's talk about trades. We've had 2 of them so far. We can grade them. We can get through this pretty quickly. Matt, what grade do you give Russell Wilson for LaShawn McCoy?
Well, the 2 parties involved here, you obviously, and then we got Big City himself. I give you an A+++++, as many pluses as I can possibly give you, because we're all pretty certain LaShawn McCoy's not really going to be of any value at all. And let's be honest, your quarterback was Kyler Murray, and everybody who owns Kyler Murray should be scared. Vince, I'm sorry. I mean, I know that you don't necessarily have the absolute strongest running back core ever. It's actually pretty... Actually, no, I'm lying. I'm looking at it now. No, you have a really good running back core, and you didn't need a running back. You should have traded for wide receiver. So I really don't understand why you made that trade, and that's why you get an F minus, because it didn't make any sense for you at all to make that trade. You didn't need a running back. You needed a wide receiver because your wide receivers suck. So, yeah, that was a terrible trade. Vince, good for you. Love it, because now you got a starting quarterback, at least based off preseason, that's worth starting.
Woo! All right, Brad, you traded 2 backups for Emmanuel Sanders.
I'm all for Brad on this one. I voted against it initially, Brad, and we'll go into the trade drama later. It had nothing to do with you. I think that if somebody's willing to make a trade and give some crap away, and we don't have any type of collusion, or maybe trading draft picks illegally or something of the nature, as long as that's not involved, I think anybody should be able to make any trade that they want to. So I'm all for it. I think you freaking raped the crap out of Rod there, and that's A+++ for you.
Here's the caveat to that. The caveat to that is Emmanuel Sanders looked great in preseason. It's not hard to look great in preseason. I will say that Emmanuel Sanders in the regular season might tank. He also might get injured again. So Rod might have given himself some more running back depth for getting rid of a guy who's injury prone. Not saying that he is, but I'm just saying the flip side of that is it might be an evil genius move by Rod. I'm trying to say I do think that Brad in the moment got the best value out of that trade. However, it might not be as bad as we think. But it remains to be seen. But Kalen is the clear-cut number 1 right now.
He's gonna start, but when Kenyon Drake comes back, Kenyon Drake's gonna take right back over. Kalen Ballage will have to work hard to earn that number 1 spot over Kenyon Drake.
It's not outside the realm of possibility.
It's not, but I still think that Brad didn't give up much to improve his overall position, and Rod gave up more to mediocrely improve his position. I will not give you the F minus that I gave Vince there. I'll give you a C on the trade, because I think you got some help in a place you needed. It'll get you some help in week 1, 2, maybe 3, depending. But I didn't like the trade from your point. I think you still could have kept Emmanuel Sanders. Your wide receivers are just not that great, and Emmanuel Sanders would have put you over the top and really balanced you out and made you at least a mid-grade receiver core. You needed that help, and you let it go. That's just my personal opinion.
And I agree, and that is it for trade grades. All right, we're going to move on to some news and updates. We're going to talk about a couple guys. Zeke, a little bit of drama there. Here's my opinion on it, Matt, and you might agree or disagree, but I think Jerry Jones has a bigger PP than Zeke Elliott, and I think he pees a lot farther. And in this pissing contest, I feel like Jerry's going to win. And everyone can talk about, I need to have Zeke, or, Zeke's the guy that's going to make it happen. Look, they have the number 1 offensive line. It could be Alfred Morris. It could be anybody. Tony Pollard. It doesn't matter. You're still going to get what you need out of a running back. And I think Jerry Jones is a professional pisser.
Well, as much as I hate to say it, because I don't enjoy giving Brad credit. This year, Brad's been pretty spot on with his waiver acquisitions, with his draft. I think he's had a really, really good start to the season, and I fucking hate it. But I think he's good in holding on to Pollard. I think Pollard will be good for probably 3 to 5 weeks, give or take. I think that at some point that they will go back for Zeke, and they'll sign him. I don't think Zeke is a long-term option for them because you're right, they do have the best line, and they're not going to let that offensive line go. They're going to hold him. They're going to sign him. They're going to keep him because since DeMarco Murray was there, that's what Dallas has done, and they're going to keep doing it. Therefore, they can hold on to Pollard. They can do what they've done with Zeke. They're going to take him. They're going to run him for 3 years. They're going to run out his rookie contract, and when he decides to hold out, they'll sign him and trade him too. I just think Pollard's going to be good, but Zeke will be back eventually. It's just going to be a wait.
I think he's got a better chance of coming back than Melvin Gordon. And
totally agree.
Here's the thing about Melvin Gordon. Dean Spanos is an asshole.
That whole organization is full of assholes.
Full of assholes. And he's not coming back. He's not coming back. They're not going to sign him. They've drew the line in the sand, and they don't care. They don't care that Phillip is on his last stretch of trying to win. They don't care about anything. They don't care.
I think they care,
They don't
but
care.
I think they
No,
look
Dean's
at
a dick.
They care because they look at it and they say, "Well, Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson will get us through."
Yeah.
So who cares? We don't need Melvin Gordon. They got 2 serviceable backs, and they've got a great wide receiver core. They're going to be fine. They got Hunter Henry at tight end. They've got all the receiving options that they need, and 2 serviceable backs that'll get them through. Melvin Gordon, I'd be shocked if he signs before week 6, maybe 8. You couldn't have paid me to touch him in this draft because I don't at all think that he has any leverage, and he's in trouble. He's not going to make it to the active roster without taking a big hit, and then they'll probably turn around and trade him pretty quickly after that because of the issues that he's caused. San Diego does not pay money to people. They never have, and they never will sign big contracts like Melvin's looking for.
Don't get me started on the Chargers. I hate them. Anyways, moving on.
The LA Chargers. Not the San Diego Chargers.
AB update. Sam, you're looking fine. If you do want to trade him, I'll take him. He got the green light on the helmet he's using now. He'll be just fine. He is suiting up for practice. All the other stuff, I think it's just a bunch of hoopla. We'll see on Hard Knocks tonight, but he looks like he'll be ready for week 1.
Heck of a third-round pick right there.
That is a hell of a third-round pick, and I'm mad about it.
Yeah, me too. I really don't think that I wanted him to do anything at all. He's only ever caught a touchdown pass from one guy. That's my guy. That's Big Ben. I don't care if he says he rapes people. He's still my quarterback for my team.
Homer. All right. Next up, we have trade drama.
Trade drama.
Bum,
bum, bum.
All right, here's the thing. Look, you can manage your team however the hell you see fit. All right? Look, if it's going to give someone a clear-cut advantage, that's your fault for not trying to trade for them in the first place. Look, here's the thing. Trades is what makes this league fun. If all of a sudden we stop trading one another, then this league's going to suck. Honestly. Don't be afraid to go out on a ledge and make a trade. You know, as much as we graded Rod a little horribly for his trade, at least he's out there trying to make his team better, in his opinion and in his mind. You know what? Same thing for me. You know, we Vincent wants to get LaShawn McCoy. All right, so who fucking cares? If your opinion is it's better and it's a great trade or a bad trade, you know what? Go fuck yourself. This league would be shit if there were no trades. Yeah, I know we got guys who like to trade a whole lot, like Brad, who hoards running backs on the waiver wire, who he's going to have to drop 2 anyways in the near future to pick up a kicker and a defense. I mean, strategize, play the wire, trade, make trades, go out on a limb. I mean, it's not just because you make a trade doesn't mean it's going to go bad for you. I mean, you have to do what you think is right. Don't listen to what all the noise is and what everyone says. We're going to grade you and judge you regardless. But seriously, though, trade players. It's fun. It makes the league fun. Stop taking it so seriously. And that's my political point on the whole.
My political
drama.
point is that I changed my vote. I changed my vote for Brad because I love Brad and I don't know why. But I did. I changed my vote because I wanted to do what was right and what was fair for the league and what made the league better and more enjoyable. When you got somebody who's stated outright they're always going to vote against every trade no matter what, I just kind of felt it my duty to do them the same disservice that they've always done me in every trade that I've ever made. Maybe it was wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have. I just did it anyways. So that's my opinion. Everybody have fun. Trade lots. Give me all your good players for nobody. And please don't vote down that trade. That's all I got on that.
All right, I just want to leave you guys with this. My wife just texted me a video of her at the Nelly concert from a Nelly song. I was not allowed to attend this concert. He is at the Amp, and it was the infamous song that I texted all of you guys on in the group me, and I'm pretty sure she's sending it to me to say, hey, guess what? You're not here. You can't ruin this concert for me. So there's that. I'm here at home doing hard draft research and work to give you guys the podcast you deserve on this lovely Tuesday night. I love all of you motherfuckers, and I can't wait to beat you in fantasy football yet again. This is coming from your two-time Bundy champion.
Coming from your absolute purgatory champion. I don't think anybody's been to purgatory more times than I've been to purgatory. Not something to be proud of. But hey, really enjoyed this podcast here. Thanks for having me on today, Mr. Andrew. I definitely feel like our podcast that we have produced here today is better than anything that Brad and Stu have ever put on recording and put out to the rest of us ever. Period.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Yeah, definitely. I'm willing to take those shots because this is pretty quality work here. Coors Light, brought to you by Coors Light, about to be brought to you by Weller Family Reserve because that's what we're switching to. And for all of your sakes, this podcast is now ending.
And remember,
Giddy on up, giddy on out.
Peace.